All right, it is the evening weather briefing for Tuesday, the 7th of October, and this is the evening edition. I am Josh Brown. I hope that you all had a great Tuesday, and just like we had seen over the last few days, we saw another band of some scattered showers and tropical downpours, especially from Metro Orlando and south. But I expect the rain chances to stay pretty low as we head into the next couple days. So this means that some spots may see a few one or two showers on Wednesday and Thursday, but I think most places will stay mostly dry. But we do have a storm system moving in from the northwest here by Friday that could start to increase the rain chances again, and that is ahead of a fall front that's going to start to move in as we head into the weekend. That could bring some refreshing conditions if you're looking for that, which we'll have more details about it in just a little bit later. But let's go ahead and get to the radar first off and see what's going on across Central Florida as we're closing out our Tuesday here. And as you can see, most of our area is dry out there. So after those scattered tropical downpours we had seen in some spots this afternoon, that has now been winding down, I guess you can say. So if we have some plans here for the rest of this evening, get out there if you could. But we still have some of these coastal flood advisories in effect here for the coastal communities between Flagler and Brevard counties, and that goes in effect here until about 8 o'clock tomorrow night. So it seems the advisory has been extended because heading into the next couple of days, we still expect the potential for more high rip current risk, dangerous rip currents, of course, and also rough surfing. We're talking breaking waves between about 5 to 7 feet in the next couple of days. So if you're thinking about heading to the beach either on Wednesday or Thursday, just a heads up that you may be dealing with some rip currents. And if you're thinking about heading in the waters, I would recommend just avoiding that. And because of the high surfing, there's also a high surf advisory in effect here until 5 p.m. At least for the next couple of days too. So the impacts for that is some flooding of low-lying lots, parks, and roadways, which may occur near the shoreline. So some isolated road closures could be expected, with the risk of rip currents and the high surfing remaining pretty high. And as I said before, dangerous swimming and surfing conditions and localized beach erosion is also another concern. And the rip currents can sweep even the best swimmers away from the shore into deeper water. So please, again, try to avoid swimming in the waters if you could. If you think about heading to the beach again, either tomorrow or Thursday, as the rip current risk continues to remain extremely high, along with the potential for minor beach erosion and high surfing. Okay. So let's go ahead and check out the tropics because we have only one named storm out there already across the Atlantic, and that is now known as Tropical Storm Jerry, which is right about here as I go ahead and turn on the tropical satellite. Do, 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 do. Okay, why is this not loading up here? Oh, this is the Gulf side. I'm sorry. I want the Atlantic side. There we go. Sorry about that. So, yep, as we go in for a closer view, we have Tropical Storm Jerry now, as you can see, with winds at about 50 miles an hour, and it's moving due quickly to the west here at about 23 miles an hour, as you can see here on the latest movement. And it looks like there may be some impacts here for the northern Leeward Islands heading into the next couple days once it becomes to a Cat 1 hurricane, which won't be until at least by, we'll say, as early as tomorrow afternoon. So just do keep that in mind. And it looks like since the system will start to become much more stronger, it will take a bit of a right turn to the north, a sharp right turn to the north, that is. And once it does, it seems that the system may upgrade from a Cat 1 to a Cat 2. We'll say Friday and Saturday, and it looks like Bermuda here could be in the path of this potential storm again, like they have been seen here recently with Hurricanes Imelda and Humberto. So, But at least the good news is, though, this will not be an issue for the east coast of the United States or for here in Florida, and that's also because there's an approaching front moving in from the north to south that will keep yet the system away from where we are, which is some good news we could use. And if I can go ahead and turn on the tropical icons, because I think we still have a smaller wave out in the Gulf this evening. And this is right about here. This is located near the Mexico Peninsula. And the latest info from the Hurricane Center says that there's a trough of low pressure emerging over the Bay of Campeche from the Yucatan Peninsula, and it continues to produce yet a large area of disorganized showers and thunderstorms. And looks like some slow development is still possible here before it moves inland again over southern Mexico, beginning late tomorrow or early Thursday. But yeah, regardless of development, areas of heavy rain and gusty winds are likely across portions of the Yucatan Peninsula, Belize, and southern Mexico during the next couple of days. So for now, the Hurricane Center has given about a 10% chance of formation in the next 5 to 7 days. So it's likely that this may not form into a tropical depression or a storm, since this is much weaker. So that's also some positive news we could use. And luckily, though, this will not be also heading into our direction or for the Gulf Coast sections of the United States from Texas over towards the Panhandle. So just another FYI. But elsewhere across the tropics, the eastern half of the Atlantic, including the west coast of Africa, the central Caribbean, is looking quiet out there with no formations expected here in the next 5 to 7 days. And yet, we are heading close to the end of the peak of hurricane season, but understand the official ending is not until November 30th. So please do note that as well. But we are still hoping for the best. We don't see any tropical activity here close to us as we finish up the rest of the season. So let's hope for the best. But anyway, that's the latest there on the tropics. So let me go ahead and turn off the tropical icons. And switch back to satellite. Or not the satellite, radar, excuse me. And again, here's another picture here of the radar close back to home. And like I said before, we are looking dry out there this evening. But yet, there might be a few showers, in part for some of you heading into the day on Wednesday and Thursday. Like I've mentioned before, most areas will stay dry. But if you're looking for another better shot of some rain ahead of a new storm system coming in from the north, that will be holding off until Friday, which I'll have more details yet in just a moment or so. But let's go ahead and check temperatures this evening. And yet we're looking at numbers sitting pretty much on the mild side. We have mid to upper 70s for our coverage area, with perhaps temperatures a little warm down south, where you have upper 70s and lower 80s down into near Jupiter to Fort Lauderdale in the Miami areas. And then you have temperatures hovering in the low to mid 70s yet up in the Mississippi Valley. As you can see, here we are on this Tuesday evening. So let's go ahead and switch over to the Hermodel, which does take you through the next 18 hours. And yet, if you're just coming on into this live broadcast, again, I don't mind if you could share this with your friends, families, followers, etc. And you know my motto, and that is sharing is caring. So, yep, we'll see temperatures overnight heading into the first half of the day on Wednesday, remaining yet still on the mild side. We're talking a morning low temperature start in the low to mid 70s across the area, with morning low temperatures a little bit cooler up north, where you have some 60s and low 70s to begin with. And then as we head into the afternoon on your Wednesday, we'll see temperatures once again staying close to normal in the low to mid 80s for areas between, we'll say, from Seminole, Orange, Osceola counties and off towards the east coast of the state, with temperatures around in the summer average pattern, where you have upper 80s and low 90s for the west side of the state, from Cedar Key down into near the Marco Island communities. But if we could switch over to the reflectivity product on the latest Hermodel. As I mentioned before, here there might be just a few isolated showers during the afternoon hours of Wednesday, and it seems that some of the activity could possibly form over here towards Polk and Osceola counties, and perhaps the same for Brevard and Marion counties. But again, most of us will stay mainly dry, mostly heading into your Wednesday. And it looks like some of these isolated showers will continue at least through the evening portion of your Wednesday. And then during the overnight, things should be looking pretty calm as the showers will push a little south, just around outside of our market, you can say. Not just during the overnight on Wednesday, but heading into the morning hours of Thursday. And then yet we'll see more showers and perhaps maybe a couple of thunder showers, especially areas again from Osceola, Brevard counties to down south between 4 and 5 in the late afternoon, with better chances mostly south of the viewing area. So let's go ahead and check out the temperatures. Evening temperatures, that is, heading into Wednesday night and on into, we'll say, the first half of the day on Thursday. So by 8 o'clock Wednesday night, we'll see temperatures yet remaining mild in the 70s and into the lower 80s across the southeast. And then by the time we head towards daybreak on Thursday, we'll see morning low temperatures yet beginning in the low to mid 70s across the area, with temperatures starting to cool things down as low as the mid 60s across the Interstate 20 corridor from Jackson off towards the far east you go into near Asheville, or not Asheville, Augusta, Georgia, excuse me, as that new front begins to push in from north to south. And then by 3 o'clock in the afternoon Thursday, we'll see temperatures yet remaining close to average in the low to mid 80s from Orlando east. And then you have temperatures in the average side, which is the upper 80s to low 90s from between Cedar Key down into near the St. Pete area. And yet, as the front starts to make its way a little bit southward into as close as the Panhandle, we could be dealing with temperatures up there, yet getting up as high as the 70s and into the lower 80s, as the humidity levels will start to drop too. And then as the clock ends at about 8 p.m. on Thursday evening, yet we'll see temperatures yet remaining mild in the middle to upper 70s with some 60s and 70s up north. And it looks like we're talking, as far as rain totals go for the next few days, at about, we'll say, a quarter to a half inch, especially for parts of Flagler and Volusia counties there, with perhaps as high as 1 to 2 inches down in Brevard and points south to go towards the Keys region. So that's the latest. So let's go ahead and switch gears to the GFS as we head into the next couple of weeks. So let's make our way into the first half of the day on Friday. We'll see morning low temperatures yet as the front moves in, yet towards as far as the Panhandle, starting off in the 50s and 60s for Interstate 10 and north towards the Mississippi Valley. But so far, temperatures will start off yet still pretty warm in the low to mid 70s across both Central and South Florida as Friday morning progresses. And yet, that's when the rain chances will start to increase, and it seems the better chances for that will be mostly right along the eastern side of the state from Jacksonville down south towards the Keys region. And if that's right, the chances of that will start to increase as high as 70 to an 80% coverage. So some of that rain could be heavy at times too. And it seems the west side of the peninsula will start to be mostly dry, or will remain mostly dry, rather, for the most part, heading into the end of this week too. And yet, as the front gets closer, we're talking temperatures slowly but surely dropping in the 70s and into the low, if not mid 80s, as we head into that day, with temperatures yet a little bit cooler than here in the low to mid 70s across the Mississippi Valley region. But making our way into the first half of the day on Saturday, and yet as the front moves in, we're talking temperatures beginning off slightly cooler. We're talking a bit of a refreshing start with upper 60s and low 70s here for most of our area, with even much cooler temperatures up north where you have low temperatures that could begin in the 50s and low 60s for Interstate 10 and north towards the Mississippi Valley region. And it seems that the showers will start to decrease a bit heading into the day on Saturday, yet for the east side of the state, we'll keep the chances for now at about 50% if that's true. And it seems that the northwest side of the state in the Mississippi Valley will turn out to be drying out as we approach Saturday too, as the front itself kicks in a little bit from northwest to southeast, as close to Marion, Sumter, and down towards Hernando counties. And check out these high temperatures on Saturday. Looky there, we're talking Numbers only getting up as high as the upper 70s and lower 80s. So if you're looking for some of those fall-like temperatures, then you might be in luck for any outdoor plans you may have on Saturday, except for the East Coast where there might still be some showers around. So just FYI too. And it looks like high temperatures up north will turn out to be mostly the same like it is here in central Florida, with yet upper 70s and lower 80s for highs. So making our way into the first half of Sunday, and looky there, we're talking even a bit of a more of a cool down than it is for Saturday morning. We're talking temperatures beginning off this time in the low to mid 60s for the area, the viewing area that is, with perhaps temperatures again still a bit more cooler than it is here, where we could see some 50s and low 60s for the Mississippi Valley, and some of these 50s could extend well down a bit south into Pensacola in the Destin communities. Now, speaking of Sunday, this is the second half of the day, and it shows the rain chances yet continue to drop. This time at about 30 to a 40%, 40%, basically from areas between St. Johns County and down south towards the Keys region. So the rain chances will not be quite as widespread than it may be for Friday and somewhat on Saturday. Yet the west side of the state, up towards the valley, tends to be mostly dry yet again as we head into Sunday too. And checking out those high temperatures, and yet talking some refreshing conditions, as we could see numbers anywhere from the upper 70s and lower 80s as that day arrives, with perhaps the same thing also up into the eastern sections of Alabama, on into most of Georgia and South Carolina. Looks like temperatures over here towards the southern half of Mississippi may start to warm things up a little bit in the mid 80s, even as we head into Sunday too, which includes Jackson, near Mobile, and maybe New Orleans if that's true. But at least that the humidity levels heading into the weekend will be mostly on the low side. All right, now this is the first half of the day on Monday of next week. Next week, we're talking temperatures yet beginning just like Sunday in the low to mid 60s. If you're looking for some more cool temperatures, and it looks like numbers up north will be mostly hanging in the 50s and low 60s for the Mississippi Valley, and yet for the Pensacola area up in the Panhandle. And this is the second half of the day on Monday, and it shows the dry weather moving in towards most of the state as those showers and all that moisture starts to push away from us and down towards the Bahamas region is what it looks like. And it seems that as far as high temperatures go on a Columbus Day shows started to warm up a little bit, but still looking to stay close to average in the low to mid 80s. And then it seems that temperatures up to the north will start to warm up a little bit in the middle to upper 80s, including the Panhandle side of the state up into the southern half of Mississippi and Alabama. At least things will not be quite as hot though, or nothing as far as mugginess goes heading into the next uh, coming days. And that's this weekend and Mondays is what I'm referencing to. So all right, now this is a week from today, Tuesday, October 14th, and it shows yet the dry pattern continued to stick with us here for the southeast. Yet, as the moisture still remains farther south of here, but pushing down as far as the Bahamas, the Caribbean, and the Cuba areas, which is right about down here. And checking out those highs on Tuesday, and yet a bit of a summer average pattern may be returning for parts of the state up into, we'll say, as far north as Alabama, where highs could range anywhere from the upper 80s and low 90s. So, yep, that could be coming back heading into the day on Tuesday, and we're talking temperatures heating up a few degrees above normal in the middle to upper 80s, even as Tuesday arrives too. But if we can't check the low temperatures that morning, it shows yet just another refreshing start with some middle to upper 60s across the area, and low to mid 60s up north, with some upper 50s in places like Augusta to the Charleston communities. All right, this is a week from tomorrow, Wednesday, October 15th, and yet the southeast will tend to stay fairly dry as the pattern remains around our region with no rain in sight. And yet, temperatures looks to be warming up even more, this time back in the low to mid 90s, especially up around the panhandle side of the state into the southern half of the Mississippi Valley region, which includes places like Pensacola, Panama City, Destin, Birmingham, Montgomery, and the Jackson areas. So be ready for some of that heat to return by the middle of next week if you're up in those communities. But for here, we'll see numbers remain in the middle 80s for now here for I-4 and north towards Jacksonville, and you have some lower 80s just south of the metro. So not too bad. So not as hot than it'll be for yet just north of here. It's kind of late to see temperatures like that for this time of year. All right, now this is Thursday, October 16th, and yet the dry pattern remains for the southeast, including here in Florida, with most of the moisture remaining just offshore as it brings some of those showers down here towards the Bahamas region and perhaps as far south as Cuba. I wouldn't rule out maybe an isolated coastal shower here for the coast of Fort Lauderdale and Miami, but the better chances will remain, excuse me, yet just offshore from where we are. And yet, talking temperatures still remaining average, this time in the middle to upper 80s from I-4 and north towards Jacksonville, and you have highs in the low to mid 80s just south of the Orlando metro. But the big story up north is the heat, as temperatures yet continues to increase as high as the mid 90s for Interstate 10 and north towards the lower half of the Mississippi Valley region. And this is on Friday, October 17th to close out the week. It shows yet the dry weather continuing here for the region, with most of the showers yet remaining offshore out in the Atlantic. And it seems that the heat will start to move a little eastward into areas like Panama City, Tallahassee, Cedar Key, and the Jacksonville communities. And some of these lower 90s could even make a comeback from the northern portions of our market, which includes Ocala to DeLand, Flagler County, and it seems that the mid 90s will also be up just to the north across the southern half of Georgia, and perhaps maybe up as far as you go towards Augusta, with low 90s for the southern half of Mississippi and Alabama. And if you're looking for more average temperatures next Friday, it shows mostly staying south in the southern half of the state. We have another round of low to mid 80s. I'm just looking at the heat index numbers for the day on the 17th, and it shows no signs of any triple digits, which is some good news. But still, you may feel that heat and humidity around once we see those temperatures jump above average like that. And let's check next Thursday, and yet the same thing. All right, here we are in the land of voodoo country. This takes you into the day on Saturday, October 18th, and it shows yet most of the region staying fairly quiet, including here in Florida. But there might be a few showers that could sneak in across portions of Mississippi and perhaps as farther east you go towards the central and eastern sections of South Carolina. Probably ahead of a new system there, so we'll keep an eye on that. But that can easily change as we get closer to the later part of this month. And as we check out the high temperatures, and this is ahead of a new cold front. This could be front number 2 moving in here by the 18th, and that could start to drop temperatures from the 90s down into the 60s and 70s, which is where it should be for this time of year, especially just north of the state. And ahead of that, we'll see temperatures yet remaining in an average side summer way in the upper 80s and into the lower 90s for most of central and southern Florida. But check out these low temperatures heading into the morning of the 18th, and it shows the lows starting to drop as low as the 50s and into the lower 60s without front moving in yet in the Mississippi Valley. But if we do check the low temperatures here for the first half of the 19th, it shows temperatures dropping as low as the 50s and low 60s. Yeah, it could be our first significant cool down heading into late October as the second front moves in towards central Florida. But if you go up north around the panhandle side of the state in the Mississippi Valley, we're talking temperatures beginning off pretty chilly. Instead of seeing 50s, they could expect morning glows to begin in the low to mid 40s as the 19th arrives. So we'll see if that will be the case, but that can always change as we get closer to late October. So just keep checking back in with me here on Facebook Live and by me posting on social media for updates as soon as we know. And it looks like with that front moving in, there might be a quick burst of showers heading into the first half of the 19th, especially from Brevard County down south into Miami. But not much as far as the chances go, and as far as the totals go, too. And looky there, we're talking temperatures for highs only getting up into the upper 70s and lower 80s for our area, and highs in the upper 60s and low 70s for the panhandle side of Florida and in the Mississippi Valley, thanks to that new front approaching. If the trend is right, again it's just way too soon to know at this point, but that can, like I've said multiple times, change as we get closer to that time frame. And if we do check the low temperature map here for the first half of Monday, October 20th, it shows not quite as cool than it might be for the morning of the 19th. So instead of seeing mid 50s, we'll see temperatures begin in the upper 50s and low to mid 60s. So a bit of a slight warm start to the day, but you may still have some of those refreshing conditions, if you know what I mean. And it seems that morning lows will begin in the 40s and 50s up in the Panhandle, up into the Mississippi Valley region, if you're looking for that. And here's the second half of the day on October 20th. It shows maybe a few passing coastal showers for the coast of Volusia, Brevard, down towards near the Fort Pierce areas, and the same right down here towards the Keys and the southern part of the state, like Miami, for example. But the chances for that stays quite low, at about 20% or less. But the rest of the state and the valley tends to stay fairly dry to start off that week, if that's correct. But yet the fall like pattern continues, as we'll keep temperatures yet running average in the 70s and lower 80s. And then you have temperatures up north in the valley hovering in the low to mid 70s for now, also heading into that same day. So not bad there. And looking at the low temperatures here for the first half of the 21st shows numbers not quite as chilly up north, where temperatures may begin in the 50s instead of 40s from Tallahassee up into Birmingham, Atlanta, Macon, and the Augusta communities, with perhaps morning low temperatures beginning off just slightly cooler, but not quite as significantly cooler, where you have some 60s and low 70s returning. Again, these are not high temperatures, these are lows, so just to prevent from confusion. And it seems some of that moisture will start to increase a bit here, and if that's right, that could start to increase some of the chances for coastal showers for the east coast of the state heading into the second half of the day on Tuesday, October 21st. And ahead of that could be a new system coming in from the northwest that can bring some unsettled weather for portions of Alabama and Mississippi. So we'll keep an eye on that too. But again, just way too soon to know at this point if that's going to happen. And with that, we're keeping temperatures yet still not too bad in the 70s and into the low, and for some spots in the mid 80s, with temperatures with that system moving in here starting to drop slowly but surely in the cool side, where you have some 50s and 60s for places like Birmingham, Tuscaloosa, and Jackson. And if we look at the lows here for the first half of the 22nd, it shows yet numbers beginning off, again, not quite as chilly, but cool, though. We're talking 50s and 60s to begin with in the Panhandle in the Mississippi Valley, and we're talking numbers beginning off a little mild in the 60s and 70s here for central and southern Florida. And this is the second half of the day on the 22nd, and it shows yet the moisture continue to increase for us, and that could yet bring some more showers and thunderstorms here for the east side of the state down towards the Keys region. And yet with that new system up here to the northwest could bring yet some unsettled weather for not just Mississippi, but perhaps for the central part of Alabama and western Georgia. And for now, we're going to keep temperatures yet running mostly the same in the upper 70s and into the low, if not mid 80s. And you also have temperatures in the 70s and lower 80s for highs, too, for portions of Louisiana, Mississippi, and Alabama, with that system moving in, with temperatures beginning to cool things down in the 50s and 60s for parts of Georgia and South Carolina. And last but not least, this is on Thursday, October 23rd, and it shows the showers remaining here for parts of the state, but for the east side of the state, that is, from Jacksonville down into the Keys region, whereas as the cover stays mostly at about 40%, with some of that dry air moving in from the north to south as far as the Panhandle goes. And yet the temperature pattern stays the same, as we'll keep numbers yet running from the 70s and into the low, and for some of you, like the Panhandle side of the state, for example, in the mid 80s as the day arrives. And that's, again, October 23rd is what I'm referencing to. So there you have it, and we'll see how the trend goes for the next couple of weeks as we head into the close to mid to late October, you can say. But for now, I'm just going to go ahead and wrap up this broadcast on this Tuesday evening. And I hope to have the next update right back here tomorrow night. And as always, I'll continue to post more notes or updates in my blog and social media platforms 24/7. In the meantime, please continue to stay safe by taking care of yourselves and each other. And God bless.